Anytype has changed, and we are doing a tutorial on the new Anytype experience. And what I've done here is that I have divided these tutorials into smaller bits, which will be the videos, because I could do one long one, but honestly, it would take too long, and the video would be too long, and it just wouldn't be worth it. So what I've done is that I have turned them into like bite-sized chunks. And I will go through in this video how to set up your resources, or actually how I would set up my resources. And then in the next one, I will probably do tasks and we will go on like that. I'm not sure how we will end up, like which video will come out first and last, but I will title every one of them with the tutorial name and also the year, so you know which version we're on. Because Anytype changed this year, so 2025. If you're new to the channel, hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video. That's my go-to intro to every video. I do a lot of videos and tutorials on productivity applications, and Anytype was actually the first one. So let's talk about resources. So first of all, I would set up a collection. So you can decide whether or not you want it like this. I like to have it as an inline collection. The other way of doing it is doing like creating a new page like this, or just creating a new collection like this. So if you do \collection and you press the object collection, you will get it like this. This is my favorite way of doing it. The other way, as I mentioned, is to do a page and then have an inline collection in the page like this. So inline collection here, and have it like this instead. So that's the different ways of doing it. Let me just go ahead and delete this one, and we will jump into this new collection, and we will call it resources. And basically how we are going to use this is sort of as the paramethod, resources in the paramethod. That is how we are going to do it, but it is a little different because it is an object-based note-taking app. So before we can do any of this, we will have to go in and fix our objects, because if I now create a new object, let's just call this one test, and open this up, I don't have too many object types. So I have tasks, I have bookmark, I have note, I have project. So the notes would probably end up in my resources, but apart from the note, like nothing else would end up being in my resources. So we will need to go in and we will need to create some new ones. There are multiple ways of doing it, but I like to go into my object types like this. So let me just show you that one more time. If you press your space name, so in this case, it is YouTube test space. I click this, I get my settings. So I have general, invite members, remote storage, and object type. Then I get to see all of my different object types, but I don't want to see them. I want to create a new one. Then you press the new button and you get this. So this shows your layout. I want one called books. And here you can format it, so I can change the layout type. Here I would have it as a basic layout, but for example, if you wanted project management or tasks, you could do action, which gives it a checkbox right there. And if you had a person or a company, profile would probably be the one you would choose. I will go ahead with basic. Then I will add a header position, and I like to have it centered. A lot of people like it left. Layout width will be 100%. I never do any, I never change that at all. And you can now then go into your properties. And this will also be fun because since this is a new workspace, I don't have a lot of properties. There are a few things I like to add. So this part is highly personal. It all depends on what you need, but I have a few things I need, and you can probably learn a thing or two about setting up your properties here, which used to be called relations, which is really funny. But anyways, that's not what I'm going to talk about. So one thing I like to have is a multi-select property, which is called area of life. Area of life. So just spell that out right there and save it. I will go ahead and I will add the different like properties later, but right now we will just add the properties. Then I will go in and add the information inside of the properties later. We will put this up here. And I will move the backlinks down here. This tag property, like you could use this. I will just go ahead and I will hide this as well, because you can use this, but I like to create my own. And instead of calling it a tag property, I will do a multi-select one. And I will call this subject. You can choose the name for yourself, but this one I think is a little important. I will come back to why later. Let's just go ahead and save that one as well. This one can just live down here. I don't need it in my header, but you could have it here. But I will just put it down here in the properties panel. The next one is, if you're going to use this as sort of a reading list as well, you could actually have that in the same database. Your database would probably end up being a little too much, have too many properties, but you could also use this like book type as your reading list for your books. In order to do that, you need a status property. So you can do a select one, and I call it, well, you can call it whatever you want, but I will call it reading list, because then I can also use the same for my articles and it makes sense. So here I have select property I have called reading list. And I will put this up here as well, because then you can do a search query of your books later and use that as your reading list. But let's just go ahead and apply these for now, and let's create our first one. And you would probably do this for every single one of actually, let's delete this. I didn't mean to create it inside of here, but what I was trying to say is that you can actually create this for every single one of your resources. What's important here is that you think about what you would capture. So an article is an article, a podcast is a podcast type, and book is a book, and so on. That is really important in an application like this, which is object-based. So let's call this a random book. I couldn't come up with a book name. So we will call this a random book. We will change the type to be books. And here you have my books. You can add icons, add covers, add descriptions. I almost never do that. I can set the layout width. I can change the header position here as well. I can share it, and I can also open up my properties, which is what we are going to do. So here, you can see your properties, and you can also see the hidden properties like the tag one, which I showed you earlier that I hide. And this is so much better than what it used to be. I can also edit the type from right here. Currently, I have no templates. I don't use templates that much, but you could go ahead and you could create your own templates. So let's go ahead and add the things into my properties. This is where I add like the information within the properties. So in order to do that, you just click and you just start writing. So it will be to read, and I can then add reading. And the last one will probably be red. Not dread, but red, like this. If you're new to the channel, I always have spelling mistakes, so that is just something we will have to get used to. Area of life. This is also based on the para system. So here I have multiple like areas of my life, and I have a rule: I don't capture anything if it isn't related to one of my areas of life, because I tend to over capture stuff. And having this extra layer makes it a lot easier to decide what to keep or not. So I have like personal, I have my personal company. So let's spell that right. So like this. This is my personal company. Then we have my day job. And that is probably it. That is probably it. I have personal stuff. I have social media stuff. I have uh, the uh, the day job. So for something to be captured, it needs to fit within one of these. So let's say this was a self-help book. So I will just add it to personal. If this was like a book I was reading for fun, it would probably be personal as well. The subject part is also an important part. This will be something I will show you a little later in the video, actually just a few minutes. So if we go into my subjects, let's add a few. So let's add self-help, and we can add mental health. Still struggling with the spelling, so let's try that again. Mental health, like this. And I could also add marketing, for example. And I could add, let's go ahead and just change the color of this. So you do that by pressing the three dots and changing the color. Marketing, is there anything else I would like to add? Sports, I'm really into sports as well. So here we have a few. You can add as many as you want, and you will understand how many you need after I've shown you the use case for this. So let's say this was a self-help book. So now we have created our first like book. Inside of here you can do you can write notes however you want. You can also link things. I won't go too deep into that in this video, but let's just go back. Let's say I had another book. So Marketing 101. Marketing 101. Let's go ahead and add that. And we will just open this up like this. Add an icon for fun. Let's do emojis and let's do a smiley. So this is Marketing 101. Let's change the type here to a book. So let's say this was a book I read, Marketing 101, because I want to become a better marketer. Here, this book is finished. Let me just go ahead and change the color of this as well. So this book is finished. It is a couple of areas. It is both for my day job, which is marketing and communications, and for my like personal brand, which is also marketing and communications. Subject is marketing, like this. And this was, let's say this book was all about like the general things you should remember in a marketing campaign. So let's call this Marketing Campaigning 101 instead. That will make more sense in my example. Marketing campaign, don't know how to spell that. Let's just do marketing camp. Like this. It is really hard to spell when you are trying to talk at the same time. And also English isn't your first language and campaign isn't a word I've written a lot. So this is my marketing campaign. Now, this isn't something you need to follow along with. So if you're following along and trying to set up your Anytype as I'm doing this, this isn't a part where you should do that. I will do another video about how to use projects, but let's just quickly check if project is a type I already have. It is. So back to the home page here. like this. And if I now do backslash and I do a set, or it is called a query, still the old lingo. So let's create a query. It used to be called sets, it is now queries. And this will be the object type project, like this. I will not add any tags, and this will be projects. I will not set up my projects database, but let's say I had a marketing work. So let's say at work we had this marketing campaign we wanted to do, and I needed to figure out all of the important things about running a marketing campaign. So if we now do backslash and we do inline collection, and I do resources, and I now add a few filters here, we can filter based off a few things. So let me just go ahead and show you the properties that I wanted to filter on. That is the reading list wasn't the one, area of life is the one I wanted to add, and also the let's see if I can find it. Let's see if we can find it. So subject was the second one. The better way of doing this is to open this up, see the properties right there, and actually search for them. So searching for them in here, add property and searching for them in there, that is much easier than trying to find exactly the one you're looking for, because after setting up a few of these databases, you will have many properties. So we have added a few here, and I've just added these to demonstrate something. So I want to filter based on the things that are related to marketing and my day job. So I will go in here and I will filter based on subject. Actually, let's do area of life first. So let's do area of life. Area of life is or has any of, and add my day job. So area of life has any of and the thing you want to be shown. So here you can see it. And I wanted to add another filter because in many cases I will have a lot of different things that are actually related to my day job, a lot of different subjects. But this time I want to just have the things related to marketing. So we will do now subject like this, and we will then base it off of has any of, and we will find the marketing one like this. And now you suddenly have a view of all of the ones that are related to marketing. And this makes it a lot easier to find exactly the thing you are looking for, the resource you are looking for. But let's say you don't like the table view, you want a different view. Let's say you like the gallery view a lot better, you can change it to that. I personally like to see the gallery view instead of the table view when I'm working on my project. So here I would have all of the resources related to that specific thing, which is great. And you can also, of course, change the settings here. So I don't want the area of life to be shown, for example. Um, so here you actually have a filtered view of all of the things related to that specific project you're working on. This helps me at least stop the over capturing. So let's go back home, back to the resources. Now we understand why I use this subject. It is this one, the subject property, because I want to filter based on that. You can also do it based on a set. So if you just wanted to see all of the things related, all of the books related to this project, you could do a set and do books, a query. I need to learn the lingo again. So I spent like so much time changing the way I speak from calling it sets to from calling it queries to sets, and now I have to go back, which is super annoying. But this actually makes a lot more sense, so I understand why they did it. But we are doing a query based on the type book, and you could do the same here, so add the same filtering abilities here. I will just move this to or delete it. So here you actually have how I would set up why I would set up my resources like this. We'll just quickly go over the different views. So I mainly add two views. I add the gallery view with no filters at all. And here I personally like the medium or the small ones. The small ones are great. This is of course much better if you add images and stuff, but I honestly never do. The second one, which is the most important one, is the graph view. I want a graph view of my resources database so I can link different things together. That is something that is really important to me because I have this graph view here, but this has tasks and object types and just everything into one. I want a graph view just for my notes where I can connect my different notes together. So that is how I would set it up. And it is quite basic, but that is how I would set up my resources, and it works great. Um, that has actually been the way I've used Anytype whenever I've used Anytype. And I think this is a great simple way of doing it, and that is the important point. I like to have a more simple system instead of a more complex one, even though a lot of people will probably think that this is a very complex way of doing it. But I especially like the idea of having the ability to filter things. And probably in the next video, I will talk about specifically object types and setting up templates and things like that. So stay tuned for that one. I don't know if it will be in a week or in 2 weeks, but I try to post things as fast as I can. That covers it for today's video. If you have any questions, anything you want me to follow up on in another video, please do comment it down below and I will try to get to it as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching today's video.